All right, we're going to reconvene the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wishes to discuss any of the topics on the public hearings? 403 William Street is tabled this evening. Preston's not available, so it's going to be the other two, which is the second reading and possible adoption of ordinance 24-012101. That's to amend chapter 46 of city code related to exceptions for landscaping on city-owned property. There was a request to read that, I guess, in entirety. We can read that under new business, unless anyone wants to hear it now. You want to hear the whole thing in its entirety? You can just read the changes, that's fine.
Did you want me to do that?
In regard to ordinance number 24-102101 on for second reading tonight, this ordinance relates to the ability of people to put landscaping or hardscaping on abutting city property. This ordinance has been through a couple of generations as it started out to be more broad because people were at one point seeking additional uses on this abutting land. But as it's now written, this would permit people to seek a special exception for landscaping and hardscaping only and not for parking on city land that is abutting a residential property. Essentially, you can seek a special exception from the Board of Adjustment, and the Board of Adjustment has to review the application for any potential detriments to the neighborhood and either granting or denying the application. And the Board of Adjustment is permitted to place safeguards and the conditions on any approval. One of the main issues would be that the city can require that any improvements be removed, and they have to be removed within 30 days at the city's request and the city's sole discretion. Because it is city property, obviously, so the city needs to remain in control. But at the same time, there's at least one example of someone who did a nice job of landscaping and hardscaping. And so they can essentially seek a special exception. If there's an existing situation, that situation is not grandfathered, because you can't grandfather something that was not permitted under the code. So to the extent there's an existing situation, those property owners would have to submit a special exception request to the Board of Adjustment for consideration. And in a nutshell, that's what this ordinance is about at this point.
Any questions or discussion? Yes.
Can the addition be read as that language is written?
Do you have the strike out or strike through and all the revised language, Bill?
It's just an addition, added language, there's no remove, I can read it if you'd like it.
Is it just the one paragraph?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
In any zoning district in the city, an abutting property owner may seek a special exception to permit the property owner to add landscaping, which could include plantings or hardscaping improvements unrelated to parking to city property. Any special exception issued under this section is subject to revocation by the city at any time at the city's sole discretion. Upon revocation, the property owner shall remove any improvements within 30 days of written notice of revocation. Revocation, I don't know. That's the only paragraph that's added to that section. There's nothing removed.
All right, any other discussion? All right, about the third item is resolution 24-1117-01 related to the employee tuition assistance program. Anyone want to speak on behalf of that? All right, we'll go ahead and leave the public hearing open for now in case somebody wants to come forward, but I'm going to go ahead and call the regular mayor and council meeting to order. If everybody's please stand for the pledge. I
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
All right, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Dudley.
Here.
Councilmember Roberts.
Here.
Councilmember Turley is virtual.
Gone at the moment.
And Councilmember Delaplane. Here. City Manager Loveland.
Here.
Finance Manager Gray.
Here.
City Solicitor Rodunda.
Here.
Police Chief Henderson.
Officer First Class Williams, here in attendance for Chief Henderson's away at a conference.
And City Secretary Pincus is present.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna go a little bit out of order this evening. We do have a presentation on behalf of DART. Is DART in attendance this evening?
Yes.
Okay. If there's no objections, I'm gonna let them do their presentation now, and then we can go back to regular business. All right, sir.
You stand up.
Go to the podium. You can grab one of those microphones there and just go to the podium. George, can you give me that mic? Sure.
Turn it on for you. There you go. Good luck.
Good evening, I'm Albert Loyola, and the Deputy Customer Experience Officer for Dartford State. I'm here because the community wanted to discuss about the Route 44 discontinued. Can you hear me now? Get a little closer to it. I'm here to discuss the discontinuation of the Route 44, which actually became effective today. It was a decision that was based on ridership. Pretty much what it was the average per trip on the Route 44 was about 1.52 riders per trip. So based on those low numbers, the decision was made to discontinue it. We still have full service on the Route 25 to the Wrangell Hill Park and Ride. This better? And I'm here to just take questions on it. I know that there's some, there are individuals that were not pleased with that decision, but we're comfortable with it, and we can also talk about other options. Maybe we'll have another service change come February, that maybe we can look at some options that we can maybe serve the community a little better. So I just want to open up for questions from the public.
I guess I can start, just to make a brief comment.
Mhm.
One of the concerns that I have, obviously, we're concerned about losing the route, due to, members of the public that rely on that type of transportation, but I'm a little bit concerned and honestly a little bit disappointed that the city wasn't properly notified in the beginning that this was taking place and allowed us to have proper input. We were caught off guard and come in at the end of the process. And I feel the decision was already made before we even had an opportunity to address DART and the state on our position on losing the route.
Well, this proposal was actually let out with the rest of our statewide proposals in August of this year. It was put out in the newspaper, the News Journal, and also it was all the state legislators were notified of it as well. And we had 3 public hearings, one in each county, Georgetown, Dover, and Wilmington. And we took, that's the same process that we've been doing for many years. And that's the way we let out our proposals. And then we have, of course, the opportunity for the public to put in comments about the proposals. At the public hearings are also online through our website. They can also call their comments in, and it all becomes part of the public record before we make any decisions on that. And that was the process, and we got it together, and then we made a final determination in October.
Understood. I just don't feel that if we were directly impacted, I think somebody should have reached out and let us know. We shouldn't have to rely on really reading the newspaper or even our legislators. Our legislators are busy at times and things slip through. I just think we should have been notified on the front end of it instead of months later. And you know, having to play catch-up. That's just my opinion.
Yes, sir?
Well, it was never designed to be a moneymaker. We only have 2,000 people here. You was never going to get 200 people a day on that bus. It was a service, not a moneymaker. You're located out of Delaware City. We live in this is Delaware City. You can't tell me you can't ride that bus through Delaware City and you run your buses through here to do your maintenance. I mean, right? So we're good enough to run on our roads to the maintenance, but you're not even good enough to pick up the people that really are in need. These people need this service. And it started from DENREC. This was a grant from DENREC, which got the Delaware City bus on your system, right? Correct? I mean, it was never a moneymaker. He wasn't going to make 200 riders a day here. This was a small service, and I'm disappointed in DART for the whole thing, for cutting Delaware City out when your home base is in Delaware City.
Thank you.
One thing I want to bring up, sorry, I have to agree with George on that, but one thing I want to bring up too, you're saying August. The DART Reimagine process, according to your own website, took place over the course of a year. Before any hearings were announced, anything of that, at any time during that year-long process of reimagining DART, and yes, I am putting it in sarcastic quotes, because it's being reimagined very poorly, if you ask me. But at any point during that year, did DART make any effort to reach out to our mayor, our city manager, to the citizens about, hey, we're looking at this route, we have concerns about low ridership? It wasn't done. As far as I can tell, there was not any effort on DART's part during that year of reimagining before the town halls to reach out to the city. And that's where I think the frustration is coming
The
from.
DART Reimagine process took over, it was an 18-month process.
Okay.
And it was comprehensive. And we had input from towns throughout the state. We had input from legislators, we had input from employers, the public. We had community conversations. I don't know why Delaware City did not hear about that, but it was definitely, every legislator was involved in
Okay,
that
but-
process.
But it almost sounds like the blame's being put on us. What did DART do to reach out to Delaware City to involve them in this process?
We reached out through what we thought were the proper channels. I mean,
Okay.
that's really what it comes down to. I mean, it was the normal channels of going through legislators, going through the public, putting it out. We did a lot of things on social media, the newspapers. I mean, a lot of towns did participate in this process.
Okay, Delaware City, for whatever reason, was not on the radar. There were no efforts being to reach out to community leaders here, to our mayor, our town council. No one, representing Delaware City got to be part of that 18-month process.
I can't answer that question. I don't know why that is.
Right, but yeah, I think you can kind of understand where our frustration's coming from. We feel like we were
Mhm.
out of the loop on this. And,
Okay.
it, what's going, I mean, I keep hearing, well, this is how we do it, and this is, are you proposing that there'll be a change to that there will be more effort between DART, for DART to reach out to
Well,
Delaware City?
we've been conversing with the city manager's office, so I think that now we have more of a connection.
Okay.
And I think that we'll continue to do that, and hopefully we'll find some type of solution, whether it's a bus coming down here or something else that can help the community out, but we're definitely gonna have a conversation about it.
Okay, well, I mean, I hope that comes to fruition. I'd
Sure.
certainly like to be a part of it.
Thank you for being here, sir, from DART. It's nice to have somebody in person to talk to us and try to get some things resolved, because one question I have, even though the many years that DART's been here, I think I've ridden on the bus maybe a half dozen times. And the convenience was for me, is to go to the train station in Wilmington. That was perfect. It was ideal for me. I don't go to the train station all the time, but it worked in situations. But I can't understand, I wrote DART a letter and got no feedback whatsoever. And it's not your fault personally, I think it's whoever is running the show up there just doesn't like to open their mail. Well, I put in there very nicely, why doesn't DART consider, besides shutting it down, options, suggestions, solutions, and especially incentives to get more people to ride the bus? Perhaps advertising it some more, to let more seniors like myself know what's out there, to take advantage of it, and provide this service for us that need it on an everyday, or not every day, maybe every other day vantage point. For instance, you have it coming here 6 days a week. Did you ever consider making it like every other day? Is that a possibility? I'm not an engineer or designer, but I think if you could look into it and look at the options in order to provide that service here in Delaware City, it might have made it advantageous for those who really need it. Now, I don't need it right now, but eventually as I get older and my Social Security holds on, so we're gonna look down that road because I'm gonna need some transportation. So please ask your superiors, whoever your public relations are, to look into it. Not just shut it off, but look into it to provide those 4 things I just mentioned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alan Williams, 403 Hamilton Street. I have a 2-part question. How many other routes throughout the state are being eliminated during this process?
Well, we're eliminating the 62, which is Churchman's Crossing area. We're eliminating the Route 52, which is was up in Greenville.
Okay.
Again, for very similar situation, I mean,
Okay.
in low ridership. We're also down in, towards Smyrna, the 120 has been eliminated. And, you know, so we're looking at, and the 64. I'm sorry, and the 42, which is from, the Route 4 area.
Okay. So that's 5 towns or cities that are affected by this.
Yes, sir.
And now, my other question is, are you subsidized by the state?
Yes, we are.
So, if we are taxpayers, and just a general question, if we're taxpayers, and we pay our taxes every year, and the state is not providing a service for us that they used to provide, I find that that's quite a contradictory statement. Okay? The other part of my question is this. That being said, what are the chances of getting, instead of the full buses that ride through town all the time that are empty, they're always empty, what's chances of getting a shuttle from the corner of Clinton and 5th Street out to the bus stop at 113 and name of the road?
DMV.
DMV, right?
That is an option that we're looking into. I know that, in talks with, city manager, that we could be able to maybe provide a vehicle. We need the city to actually operate that vehicle.
I think I speak for everyone from this city. We're very disappointed in the state, you taking our tax dollars and taking a service away from us.
Yeah.
That's our problem, okay?
I
Thank
mean, they
you.
wanna give us a bus, and let Delaware City pay for bus driver and insurance and taxes.
We're not doing,
I
we're
mean,
not doing
that's crazy. We're not in the bus business, you people
All
are.
right.
Yeah.
But anyhow, thank you for answering my question.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Mike. I live on Washington Street. Not much of a speaker, but I've been kicked off about this Thursday, and a lot of you guys have already touched on everything that I've been feeling. The number you shot out, that 1 point, I'm that one that rides that bus every day. I ride that bus 7 in the morning to 3:30, coming back home from work, Monday through Friday. The 25 doesn't help me, the 44 does. And then they say, well, DART Connect. I can't connect with DART Connect. It's not in service. So me and my family were asked out by my line. How am I supposed to get to work? I rely on that bus. Like he just said, come on, like, this is crazy. Like, the 25 doesn't help me, even if I get a ride over the DMV. The 25 is not taking me to my job every morning. Like, what do I do?
Well, we're hoping to provide some options and to work with the city and to work with, to try to get more options to you. I think the one thing to keep in mind is, and I'm sorry that it personally affected you. I mean, like, the one thing is
He's
that,
gonna lose his job.
it's mass transit. We rely on
He works in Georgia.
to have more people to make these buses more productive. It's part of it. I mean, I understand that, you know, you have Wrangell Hill nearby, but at the same time, this is not the only part of the state that does not have transit.
Right, but you're here, we're not talking about the other parts, we're talking about here.
I understand, but from where I'm coming from, I have to represent the state as a whole, and we have limited resources ourselves. Ma'am?
Yes, who can we contact at state level that pays you with our state taxes to get this resolved? Is there somebody we can go to?
Well, you know, the best thing that we can do is we'll just continue to reach out to our elected officials. Megan Brown was just elected to Speaker of the House, so they have new leadership. There's gonna be new leadership in the governor's office, so we just have to make sure we reach out to the proper channels.
And also, is there something that can be extended through the holidays? I mean, this is like probably the worst time that you could do this to a town our size. We have a lot of people that do depend. I mean, it might be one person on a bus at a time, but you come through here, how many times a day? Maybe that could be reduced to, say, 2 trips in the morning and 2 trips in the early evening, so people can use it to go to work or go to a doctor's office or something like that. I mean, it's, I personally want to say that I find this completely unacceptable. And I will do everything I can do to get to the bottom of what's happening and why.
Well, I will take that with me, and of course I will.
Please
go
take
ahead.
that with you and take my name, Lynn Dillapline, because I will find out what can be done. Okay?
And there's no appeal process. There's no way we can appeal this anyway, kick it up higher.
I
If you don't like the
mean,
decision-
you can speak to your elected officials, and we can see when we have our service changes are, you know, we're gonna be happy, they're usually 2 a year. Next year, they could be more, we actually are gonna have one in February, which is the first time we've had, we should have it in May and October, November time period. So we always take your input, and we will consider it, and we will look at what we have, the options that we have, and that's the promise that I can make, that we definitely will be listening, and we'll be doing what we can to provide you with more transportation.
And that's the problem, sir. We didn't find out about it till the weekend we were arguing it. That's the problem. We didn't get the time to give you our information because we didn't know about it. We wasn't told about it. That's what's got everybody upset. You say you had this process, but we found out about it after it was in the paper. It was already discussed that the bus was getting closed.
Well, we hope to have remedied that by the fact that we actually are having conversations, and that whatever proposals could come out of this, we'll definitely be in the conversation. Ma'am?
Well, excuse me, I had oral surgery today, so I'm not speaking very well, and a lot of people will be very happy about that. So I would just like to put this conversation in the context of the mission of DART, which I copied off the internet today, last night. Okay, in terms of a vision, there are 3 points of the vision. Every day, we connect people to their destinations throughout the state and the region. Doesn't say some people, a few people, it's people. And there's a very interesting history in here. This particular paragraph is interesting to me. Today, DART provides public transportation statewide. DTC also provides Delaware commute solutions that matches people with rides throughout the state. Commute solutions that matches people with rides throughout the state. And then there is a footnote there that refers to on-demand microtransit DART Connect, Georgetown, Millsboro, and Newark. Microtransit DART Connect is exactly the kind of service that I have seen in many, many other communities throughout the United States. I've lived in a lot of small towns, visited a lot of small towns. That is how people get to work. This is, I should think, I mean, the people who typically ride the bus are low-income people. They don't have an option, typically, regularly. I should think that more than anybody, you would want to get low-income people to work. That directly connects to our mission as a community and as a state to ensure that all people receive the services to which we're entitled. I've been in touch with both Representative Mimi Brown and also Senator Poore. Both of them have already opened conversations with the appropriate people in DART, and they get the same stonewall, excuse me for being hyperbolic here, they receive essentially the same response, which is, we'll give you a bus that you can pay for, that you mentioned earlier. That is not an acceptable solution, and I'm hoping and urging that those initial conversations were simply the opening conversations, and that DART will commit publicly. No, I don't care about what happened, didn't happen, about the hearings, but from this point forward, DART needs to be what it is, a public service that we pay for. Thank you.
Once in a while, I see a small bus running around town. What is that?
Paratransit?
Probably.
Does it have
Okay.
paratransit?
What brings them here?
A handicapped person.
How do they get it?
Oh,
They
you have to, they also pay for it. You also, the person that's using it pays for it.
My question is, then,
They
if they won't give us a regular bus route, maybe they can give us some kind of reasonable on-demand system with a small bus.
Right, well, that's what DART
That's what
Connect
the
is
solution
about.
is.
Yeah, that would be DART Connect. So what do we have to do to get, if we can't get a regular bus route on a regular schedule, how do we do that?
Well, I mean, DART Connect, we just started DART Connect, that type of micro transit service, a couple of years back. And it was a pilot program down in Georgetown, Millsboro area, and it did quite well. I mean, at first it's a little slow at first, but it kept growing. We introduced it to Newark just last year. And that's part of, that could be part of the solution as well. It's just that we're not at the place where we can ramp up. We need newer vehicles to run that type of service. We have the big buses, and we need to order a new type of bus. Right now, statewide, we only have 6 of those buses. Now, we have it in our capital plan to order more of those, and as we do that, we can expand on the microtransit. But it's not something that can happen overnight.
Okay, quick question on that then. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to go first?
You mentioned earlier the number of different routes you are canceling out. No, number isn't really as big an issue as what my question is. How was the reply with these other towns when you announced it?
Well, nobody likes to have the services
No, no.
continued.
I just want to know, was it positive, was it not? Are you going through what you're going through right here, right now?
Yes, I mean, we've got.
On every one of
we
them.
We had plenty of, feedback from the Greenville folks, a place that you would never think would need a bus, and but it was the same thing.
Okay, then I'll go to the next part of it. You're getting all these basically complaints or objections to your plan, and it seems like it doesn't matter what the objections are at the moment, and this is just gonna be the way it is, and you're just stuffing it at everybody. And that, to me, is what's wrong, sir.
I understand. And the
That
whole,
doesn't resolve what we're talking about understanding.
no, we do receive, I mean, and at times we do change the proposals based on the feedback that is provided. But there are times where we have to go look at the metrics. Low ridership, low productivity routes, we would like to, the whole DART Reimagined, which was mentioned a couple times, is based on expanding transit in the state to the places where it's needed. So what we need to do is that we have scarce resources like every other state agency does, like every other city, municipality has. So we have to make decisions. Those decisions have to be based on metrics.
Based upon that decision, what was just read right here, then that's propaganda, what she was talking about. Because you're not honoring what you're actually advertising.
I don't agree with that, sir.
I don't care whether you agree or not. It is the truth.
Well, the question you're saying about this whole vehicle thing, you wanna offer us a vehicle that we have to pay for, of course. Why not, until you can get that new vehicle that you're talking about for the microtransit, why not let this vehicle that you wanna offer us serve in lieu of an official microtransit vehicle?
Because we don't have the resources right now to expand the service. See, we could have a vehicle that we have what we call the 5310 program, which provides vehicles to towns and agencies throughout the state.
Okay.
And those are operated by those agencies and by those towns to get people around town to wherever they need to go.
Right.
So that program is readily available. We actually don't get as many applications for that program as we probably should. Because it's like, but the whole thing is that we'll maintain it, but you have to provide the driver for it. The operating dollars for it, the fuel and everything else has to go, from the city.
Do you guys have a contract between the city and Dart? Is there a contract
No.
that are signed?
Do you have a number that would have made it work? What's your number? What's your number that would have made the 1.4? Is it 3? Is it 5? Is it 10? What's your number?
In normal transit, we look for 10 riders per hour.
So if it's 2,000 people town, you want 10 riders an hour. I think this deck's stacked against us there.
That's 240
Yeah.
riders in 24 hours.
Hours, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty good at math, but we ain't ever gonna give you them numbers.
Now you're getting about, what, 7% of the population?
Reduce the number of trips the bus makes. It just makes
Or
sense.
use a smaller bus. You know.
And a smaller bus, yeah. Electric bus.
Will Route 44 still exist in some form, less Delaware City?
No. Route
No.
44 does not exist at this
So
point.
you're not doing anything from the hub up by
The
DMV?
25 still runs from the hub.
Okay, does it go to the mall?
Nope.
Does something from the hub go to the mall? No.
Yeah, but it's like 2 times a day, it's the 37.
Yep.
Which doesn't do, like our gentleman Mike, much good, because
So 25
my
still
understanding is
goes.
the
We would
37
have
only
to
runs
look at
about
the
6 o'clock
schedule.
at night.
If we were to introduce service back into Delaware City, we would have to look at how we can do that and reconstruct it again.
Yeah, but, like I said to you before, the one thing that bothers me is Dart's kind of tone deafness about saying, oh, y'all can just go up to Wrangleville, not recognizing that people who are riding the bus, like I said, are low income. They can't afford to take the $15 to $20 Uber ride just to get to Wrangleville and then take the $4 bus to work, when they're, some people are making minimum wage. Going to those minimum wages jobs is on the bus, and Dart just pops back with, oh, well, you can just go to Wrangleville, like, should they walk it in the heat we had last summer, or when it starts to snow, or, when we have pouring rain? I mean, it just seems like it's kind of an offensive solution. Well, as long as you've got Wrangle Hill, that's only 4 miles away, and, only, I checked with the Uber regularly to see what they charge, and, on an off-peak period, you might be able to get to Wrangle Hill from Delaware City for $15. That's minimum wage in Delaware. Well, soon to be minimum wage in Delaware. It just.
All right, Toby, we have to kind of wrap this up. Go ahead.
It's gonna be a little difficult. It seems that you have a response for everything and all the questions that everyone has asked you tonight. And now, in looking this on a broad scale, the only alternative that I see is to change all of the legislator in the state. Is that what you're saying to us?
No, that's not, that means you have a right to do that.
Okay, but that's what you,
I mean-
by holding steadfast to what you have been saying to us, that's what you're telling me personally. So I just want to make a statement. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, very quick.
5310, that, what you were saying about the transportation that we have to, is there a grant that this town can get possibly to help out with that?
I'm not aware of one, but we can definitely look into that.
But DART maintains the bus? Is that what you said?
Yes.
So DART would provide a bus, but we have to provide the driver, to pay the maintenance, the fuel, all that type of stuff.
We would provide the maintenance, but you need to provide a driver and the fuel, yes. But again, we can, that's just, it's an idea that's out there, we can definitely discuss more of the details, we'll get together with the city and we can then work all those details out.
You have to understand, in all due respect, and trust me, I know you're basically just a messenger, I get that. You're not the one that made the decisions on this. But in all due respect, if the state of Delaware is having an issue or manpower problem staffing a bus route, when the state of Delaware is one of the biggest, if not the biggest employer in the state of Delaware, how in the world is Delaware City gonna be able to staff a bus when we have a staff of less than 12 people? We don't even have a full-time police department, so in all due respect, I appreciate the offer of the bus, but we're not interested, it's not gonna work for us.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? I do see that Senator Poore and Representative Minor Brown have joined us. We started a hearing a little bit earlier. Would either of you ladies like to comment or have the floor? If not, it's fine. I just wanted to offer and acknowledge you were here. It's fine.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for,
Thanks for coming.
thank you for acknowledging that we're here. I have to process a few things. I will have something to say, but not yet.
Okay. Senator Poore?
We worked, Emery and I, talked a few months ago. We had, Emery take a bus pass throughout the day. She provided a great report to it. Public transportation is never netting money. It is exactly what it's meant to do, get people to and from. I think that the statistics and what we have been hearing is that the riders have been less frequent than what is established or what is currently needed with having 10 riders per trip. We also, I think, identified that some of the folks that are riding could actually qualify for paratransit. So it does provide some other options. But the reality to it, at least from what we're hearing, is that there's not enough riders. And I think that one of the things that probably needs to be discussed as we're at that time period is encouraging people, or at least it's been going on for the last couple of months, of encouraging people to ride the bus. Can I just ask, has anyone else in this room decided to take the bus during the period of time that there was talks about stopping the bus?
I have, but I was riding it before then too. So
Yeah,
I don't know that counts,
absolutely,
but,
absolutely. Public transportation is a definite need. But I don't know, based on what we're hearing, is if this is something that DART can provide. So we have to keep asking for other solutions. What are other things that can be offered to make sure, Emery, that you can get to where you need to be? That other folks can get to be where they need to get to? So I think that there's, again, just different, there's not enough options, but there has to be conversation that continues in order to make sure that people have the ability to get to and from.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry to be blasting on you. It's just a hot subject.
All right, moving on, we're gonna go into, action upon minutes of the previous meeting. I believe there's one set of minutes in the packet, I believe. October 21st.
motion to approve the minutes, October 21st.
I'll second.
All right, motion and second, any further discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Police report going to Officer Williams.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mayor, council, city, staff, and those in attendance, I'd like to present October's police report. The map on page 1 contains the highlighted incidents from our Crime View app. Starting in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see an orange simple assault and partially hidden gray missing person pinpoint. Those two incidents were related. The assault was determined to be unfounded, and I'll touch on the missing report in the significant events. The gray trespassing below, those two pinpoints was a late reported trespassing, which also was classified as unfounded. The suspicious pinpoint closer to the top middle of the page was a homeless subject who was sleeping on one of our sidewalks. The subject, who had no ties to Delaware City, was taken to the facility to get some needed assistance. To the right of the suspicious incident is a green vandalism pinpoint where a juvenile caused damage to a property of another juvenile. The victim's family did not wish to pursue the matter. There's another vandalism pinpoint just below and to the left of that one. This was a vehicle that appeared to be damaged by a BB gun. There was no suspect information and no other reported incidents. To the right is an orange intimidation incident that was a reported harassment. No action was taken as the victim failed to cooperate after reporting. Moving to the lower half of the map, you'll see a second orange simple assault, which was a physical altercation on a bus involving two juveniles. Both families were addressed by officers to deter any future issues, but the actual incident is something the school district would have handled. To the right of the assault is a fraud complaint in which the victim was misled by a phone call from someone posing as a representative from their banking institution who wanted money transferred via Cash App. This investigation was turned over to their bank's fraud department. The green disorderly conduct pinpoint below the last two was an incident between juveniles and adults that escalated over a children's toy. The officer was able to resolve the matter and no arrests were made. And finally, the orange intimidation pinpoint at the bottom of the map was a non-physical altercation between an adult and juvenile where verbal threats were made. This is an ongoing investigation. On page 2, if you look at the chart for October's calls for service, you'll see that Tuesday and Wednesday was our busiest days of the week, while Saturdays was our quietest. The busiest times of the day of the plaints is 1,800 hours. The numbers at the bottom of the page are the total calls for service, which has 72 incidents last month. In October of 2023, we had a total of 47. That's 53% increase this year. Year-to-date calls for service, however, were down 3.5% from 599 to 578 this October. Page 3, the department totals included 38 traffic arrests in October, 5 traffic warnings, 1 current crime prevention check, 20 crime reports, 22 field service reports, 1 accident that was a minor property damage accident on Delaware City Day, and 5 criminal arrests. For significant events, the department handled a missing person incident where an elderly subject with health concerns was unknowingly gained access to her vehicle and left the residence. The subject was located the next day by accessing her bank transactions and tracking their possible whereabouts. Officer Williams attended the national recognized 29th annual Delaware State Police Homicide Conference from October 14th to the 18th in Sussex County. Hundreds of law enforcement officers from across the country were in attendance as nationally known homicide incidents and forensic investigations were presented and discussed. Officer Webb attended the renewed technique of interviewing and interrogation training course at Newcastle County Department from October 15th to the 18th. This popular law enforcement training touches on every aspect of the interview process, including behavior, symptom analyzes, such as identifying deceptive characteristics. DCPD graciously presented in the city's Halloween trunk or treat and the Halloween parade that followed. We also played the host town hall in the Harrison Little Learners Daycare on Halloween Day. Some additional items. The first Police Accountability Committee meeting was held on Thursday, November 14th. Committee positions were filled and some organization topics were discussed. Information including minutes and upcoming meetings can be found on the city's website. Chief Henderson appreciates those who attend and looks forward to the future meetings and discussions. The Police County Accountability Committee Delaware City is committed to promoting transparency and fostering trust between law enforcement and the community. In alignment with the House Bill 206, we are proud to introduce the Police Accountability Committee. This committee will serve as an independent body dedicated to reviewing police practices, addressing concerns, and ensuring that law enforcement upholds the highest standards of integrity and accountability. Our goal is to strengthen the public confidence in our police department by providing oversight, enhancing communication, and ensuring that all community members are treated fairly and justly. The committee shall discuss policy training events and issues related to law enforcement, specifically regarding the Delaware City community and abroad. The committee may also solicit public feedback and input on above topics, offer constructive criticism to improve police-community relations, review information regarding criminal data and police misconduct data, and provide opinions and recommendations on topics concerns with law enforcement. The Delaware City Police Committee includes 7 members, 1 city council liaison. Members are required to complete 20 hours of community training to include ride-alongs or citizens police academy within a 1-year appointment. The members are followed: Chastity Connell, Tim Conkus, Avis Nash, Jeffrey A. Miller Sr., Arthur Turner, Gianni Vedetti. The non-voting members: Chief of Police Michael Henderson, and the City Council Liaison Dave Turtley. Their bios are on the website. One more thing. With the holidays approaching, the department and town hall are looking for any less fortunate families that we help lessen the burden felt this time of the year. You can call the police department or notify an officer if you have anyone in mind.
All right, any questions for the police department?
Yes. I was at the meeting for the Police Accountability Committee. Very informative, and thanks, Chief Henderson. Has the next meeting been set?
I am unaware of the next meeting, but I can have Chief Henderson reach out.
Okay, well, I'm on the email list.
Oh, okay, he will reach out through email.
Okay, wonderful, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. City Manager's report.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council, residents of Delaware City, Senator Poore, and Representative Minor Brown. I just have a few updates this month, mostly on things we've been touching on. An update on the community center HVAC replacement. It is moving along, still on track to be done in mid-December. I'll update if anything changes with that. The Artesian water main replacement project, they are about 90% done installing the mains on Clinton. They're about 40% filled. The next step, they'll start pressure testing, sampling, and then running services off the main. And they said that it's probably going to be about another 4 weeks. the Delaware City Library lease agreement. The city submitted the lease agreement to the library at the beginning of November, and we're just waiting to hear if the board has accepted. The library ramp upgrade, we're still waiting on a cost proposal from the contractor. Once we have that, I think, he said probably in the next few months, he'll be ready to get started on that. He didn't have an exact time, but after the first of the year. Before we move forward, we'll definitely take that project to the Historic Preservation Commission for review. The Delaware City newsletter, the November newsletter is out. If you haven't signed up to continue to have the newsletter mailed to you or for the electronic option, please call Town Hall this week so we can get you set up. Planning Commission, Historic Preservation Commission, and Board of Ethics. We have one open seat on Planning Commission, one open seat on the Historic Preservation Commission, and we need a few more members for our Board of Ethics. So if anyone's interested in being on one of those committees, please get in touch with me.
Is Pat Wilkerson the one that dropped out on the list?
She is. I also noted that I have started the application process for the FY26 grant and aid. As far as meetings, I attended the Juneteenth Planning Committee meeting on October 28th. They need volunteers. If anybody would like to get on the committee for Juneteenth, please see Mary. And then the Planning, HBC, Board of Adjustments, and Fort DuPont board meetings were all canceled this month. I just wanted to note that there are flyers on the back table for the Reedy Point Players presentation of A Christmas Carol, showing the first 2 weeks in December. That's our local theater group. So if you guys can, get tickets. My son, I have a personal interest in my son. My 10-year-old is making his stage debut in the Christmas Carol, so get your tickets.
My niece is in it too.
Yeah, get your tickets. And I was notified that the Delaware City Christmas Parade will be held on December 14th. So just watch our website and Facebook page for more information. And I just want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. So, thank you.
All right, any questions for the city manager? All right, city solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Very briefly, limited amount of work done this past month, involved just the matters on the agenda tonight, and then a few matters that I need to address with you in the executive session.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the solicitor? All right, finance manager report.
Hi, everyone. Good evening to the members of council, mayor, and members, residents who are in attendance tonight. So I just wanted to note a few things. On the summary page, you'll see I have updated that because the HVAC project has been ramping up, there's a lot that shows over budget, both revenue and expenses, because the fund is covering expenses, but I just wanted to note that that's why, because it really ramped up in October with all the invoices coming in from the contractors. Second page for everybody that got a copy. I'm quite proud of the fact that finally I transferred for the 5 new accounts so that I didn't have to do a lot of supplemental spreadsheets for the HVAC fund that was all spread out at the bottom of the page, which I left the leftover balances on there so you could see where the monies came from that I put in the accounts. I transferred the money where it was held from the money market account. So that's why you see the money market account decreased that over $1.1 million, because that's where all this money was sitting that was in supplemental spreadsheets. So I'm happy that I don't have to do all that side tracking for the expenses that are funded by those different projects that are going on. The video company finally, for the video security cameras around town, finally sent in their invoices in October, and you'll see that come off. I processed a check, and that project is pretty much funded and done. So, like I said, I'm glad that the tracking and streamlining got easier for those numbers through the bank, where I can just write checks and it's deducted from the account. Then the only other thing was, that the investment account on that same page, it was interesting, I had to call about it because for the first time since I've been here in the 6 months, the investment account went down some, and the way the bank explained it to me was because of the elections going on. I guess that always happens because financials are related to political, things going on, so, but I've called again and spoken with them last week, and they did say that it went back up, the activity in the investment account, so that was a good thing. Then for those of you that have a copy, I'm just gonna roll you to, the page, I'm sorry, I'm gonna start numbering these pages, that might make it a little easier. Where it tracks the expenses for the miscellaneous things that come through as expenses, where the funds are still held in the general, account. Under, park maintenance, I just wanted to note again that we're still waiting for the reimbursement. It shows way over budget, for park maintenance, but that's because there were 2 invoices done for the, milkweed pods that were put in, and, that they total 52,000, so that'll go down when I get reimbursements from DENREC for that. And other than that, I don't have anything else. I'm trying to keep it short.
Any questions on the finance report? None, I entertain a motion, subject to audit. Motion to approve, subject to audit.
Motion to approve, subject to audit.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. We go on appointments, announcements, and communication. I have a couple of appointments this evening to HPC. I'm gonna do these individually. First one I'd like to nominate is Karen Lyons for another 3-year term. Somebody would entertain a motion for that, please.
Make motion to.
I'll second.
All right, motion is second for Karen Lyons for a 3-year term. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Jackson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dudley.
Aye.
Councilmember Roberts.
Aye.
Councilmember Turley.
Aye.
Councilmember Delaplane.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Let's see, historic preservation, Karen. All right. The other one is Tom Smith for a 3-year term, also for, this is listed twice, HPC and planning?
Just planning.
Or just planning, that's what I thought. So, Tom Smith for a 3-year term for the planning commission.
Make a motion to reappoint Tom Smith for the 3-year term to the planning commission.
Second.
All right, motion is second, any further discussion? None, roll call.
Vice Mayor Jackson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dudley.
Aye.
Councilmember Roberts.
Aye.
Councilmember Turley.
Aye.
Councilmember Delaplane.
Aye.
All right, thank you. That concludes the appointments. We're going to announcements and communication. President Poppy had to go to a board meeting, but he did text me his report for the fire company. I'll read that real quick. Said the capital fund drive has concluded. They reached 45% of their goal. Industry and businesses was 55% of the contributions. During the process of 2024 fund drive now until April of 2025. The year concluded for responses, and they've had a 20% increase in all aspects of fire, rescue, and EMS. All alarms in total were all-time highs for this department. In the 137 years of business that we've been in, we've reached all-time highs this past year. And this is going off script from Wally, but I can tell you that's going to increase every single year as demands are placed more and more on the fire company, the municipality. That's, you know, why I took the position I did with the bus route, is because the demands are going to be more and more on the municipalities with less and less staffing, less funding. Breakfast with Santa is December the 8th. Taking on families at Christmas time, we've done in the past. I believe they're doing 3 families they're adopting, I believe. Sub sales the 21st, 6 a.m. till sold out. Usually gets sold out by 9, 10 o'clock. So if you want to order, make sure you're here early. And they've been in contact with the state AG's office about displeasure with the charges that were not filed when one of our fire police officers was hit on the scene of a motor vehicle accident. Realize it was not malicious, but we have a law and we don't enforce it. And he said he just wants to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. That concludes the fire company report. Open up the floor to any other organizations. Want to give a report this evening at Main Street?
Main Street, we have Small Business Saturday, the nationwide Small Business Saturday becomes 15 years old on November 30th. Small Business Saturday is 15 years old, and we will have our Small Business Saturday event on November 30th, starting at 1 o'clock. That will include the arrival by fireboat of Santa Claus, who's sitting up front, and it includes free photos with Santa, with the photographer sitting in front as well. We don't mention names here this time. We also have free harbor cruises, so that it'll be on one of the smaller boats, so families can get out and see the cruises, see the harbor. And we're also going to have a special. The library will have their warm coat giveaway that day, 1 to 3. We additionally will have some merchants who will set up there, which is great, and we'll have some holiday music, and so it should be a wonderful time. That's Saturday, 30th of November. I gotta say, I'm really shaken to be standing here in front of the new Speaker of the House. Come on. Anybody would be quaking in their shoes if you had to speak in front of them. And you too, Senator. So that is going to be our Small Business Saturday. Again, Main Street will help with the parade, as will Dragon Run. The city is putting on the parade this year, so we all hope to see everybody out there. Did I forget anything? No. And thanks a lot to George and to Lynn for helping us on Small Business Saturday, and to Lori. Thank you.
Junction Library.
Okay, so the library will be open regular hours next week, aside from Thanksgiving Day, obviously. We know the kids are out of school. We've got a lot of great programs planned for them, so please send them down. And if any adults would like to take a break from their visiting relatives, we are also open to adults. So we've got flyers about our programs in the back, and I just wanted to mention a few. Tim just told you about Small Business Saturday. I'll be there on the book bike with treats and free books, and of course, coats for kids while supplies last. We just ask that the kids that we give the coats to should be there to select them and try them on. Also, on December 5th, we have a musical program called Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas with Bill Brushy, who will perform Yuletide songs. And because it's the library and we have to throw an educational component in, he will be sharing historical and interesting facts about all of these holiday classics. So it's both entertaining and educational, and we hope you will join us on December 5th. Also on December 18th, we have our annual gift wrapping social. You bring your presents, and we will provide the wrapping paper, the bows, the bags, and all of that stuff, along with some free yummy snacks from local merchants. And just make a boring chore into something fun. So I hope to see everyone at the library.
What night?
That is December 18th, which I think is a Wednesday.
What time? Let me put that down.
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask me. I wanna say 6 o'clock, but check our website.
All right, thank you. Saw a hand all the way in the back. I didn't see a face to go with it, though. Okay, Pam, all right.
I'm Hannah Kalachi, president of Delaware City
Park District. And we are having our annual, Christmas party Sunday, December 8th from 12 to 3. Free food, DJ, Santa, and gifts for kids under 12. Thanks.
Thank you. I know it's early, was there anything for Delaware City Day?
No report.
No report, all right. Any other organizations planning?
No business this month.
No business, HPC? Go ahead.
I know we talked a lot about DART earlier, obviously. I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you everyone who spoke up. Secondly, you know, as they said, the service has stopped, but we still have people trying to get to and from work. I want to thank the people who volunteered so far to try to help some people get to and from, you know, at least a gap measure until something else can come into place, which it sounds like might not happen before February at this point. I also brought some copies of the weekly. The weekly has been a very great support in helping us get the word out, so I do want to say thanks for that. I have some copies on the table in the back. It includes the article, the front page article about what DART is saying, and it was pretty much what he was saying tonight was almost word for word what's in the article from DART. There are also some slips there, so if you don't already do so, consider subscribing to the weekly, and you can get it in the mail. I think it's $35 a year. Yeah. Yeah. Or if you do get it, and you know, it's a great Christmas gift for someone else. So, but again, thank you all.
You're keeping your Facebook page up?
Facebook page is going to stay up.
And what's it called?
Right now, Delaware City 44. Perhaps we need to consider a name change, though. Open to suggestions. But yeah, as we get updates, we'll bring them through the page and see what happens.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
Randy?
The Delaware City Refining Company is doing their annual toy drive for Toys for Tots, so if anybody has a toy that they want to donate, please get in touch with me. We're also doing a food drive for the local schools. We drop off the food over at Southern Elementary and they distribute it to the students. We're also, our USW guys are going to sponsor, I believe, 6 families in Delaware City this year.
Thank you. Any other organizations? Tree Commission?
Delaware City Tree Commission, if anyone has any questions about trees, city trees, they can email DelawareCityTrees@gmail.com, which will come to me and I'll consult with the commission if necessary. And I'd like to thank everyone's residents for their patience with the planting of city trees. The spring planting was moved to the fall because of the early heat wave, and then our fall planting was already planned, but we were given an opportunity to take advantage of some ARPA funds that could be, that would not need to be, it's like free funds for about 40 more trees. So we had a deadline for that and needed to get them chosen for the right tree for the right spot in August and September, so they could be planted in October, et cetera, to be paid for this year. So we thank people's patience for us trying to find the right tree for the right spot in time to take advantage of that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Any other organizations or committees?
Yeah, you want a question? What's that email address again?
DelawareCityTrees@gmail.
Thank you.
All right, if nobody else has anything, I want to throw something out there for everybody to think about. So in 2026, we're going to have where we celebrate our 200-year anniversary. I was thinking about a couple different things, maybe doing a 2-day event for Delaware City Day, maybe doing a separate committee, but I'd like to hear what the residents want to do. as well as Wendy. I'd like to see what your thoughts were on that. You know, if we wanted to go a 2-day Delaware City Day event, that would be great. And then we could lock you in for 2 more years, that'd be good. But seriously, like to hear feedback on what the residents want to do. We could put a separate committee together for the 200-year anniversary, that's completely fine. And do it in cooperation with Delaware City Day, that's fine, but open to ideas and suggestions. But we need to start planning soon. This is going to be a major, major event. It's going to take a lot of planning and a lot of organization, a lot of volunteers. So let me know. I'd like to get started probably the first of 2025. So, all right, final call. Anybody else have anything? Yes.
This is in regard to the last item that you raised, Mr. Mayor. Tim Slavin asked me and a couple of other people if we have an official Delaware City flag. If we don't, we have a really beautiful emblem that appears on the Delaware City page and on official communications. And I'm wondering if we might be able to have a flag made in connection with that anniversary.
We can do that. We have Delaware City logo, so we can make a flag, whatever we need.
Yeah, let me know about that, I can help you, I'm in fact.
Well, you'll climb it.
All right, final call. All right, we're gonna move on to old business. There's no items on the agenda tonight. Before we go into new business, is there anybody who wants to discuss any of the items on the public hearing? All right. If not, I'm gonna close the public hearing and I'm gonna move into new business. I need a motion to table 403 William Street. Preston's not available tonight. We'll table that till next month.
I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
All right, there's the second. Any further discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion's carried. Item number 2, second reading and possible adoption of ordinance 24-0121-01 to amend chapter 46 of the City of Delaware City Code to create a special exception for landscape options on city-owned property.
Make a motion to accept ordinance number 24-1021-01.
I second.
All right, motion is second. Any further discussion? If none, Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Jackson.
Aye.
Councilmember Dudley.
Aye.
Councilmember Roberts.
Aye.
Councilmember Turley.
Aye.
Councilmember Delaplane.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Final one is resolution 24-1117-01, reference to the employee tuition assistance program.
Right, now this is the first reading of this, correct?
This is just a
This
resolution.
is just resolution.
Yeah.
It's been reviewed, the budget's been reviewed, this isn't, gonna put us in the hole.
No, I think that we could try it this year and see what happens, see what happens at the end of the year. I don't think we ever really end with a whole lot left, but I think it's small enough that if it doesn't work this year, we can change it next year.
Is there a motion to accept it?
I'll make a motion to accept,
I second.
resolution 24-1117-01, employee tuition assistance.
I second it.
Just to
Motion is second.
clarify, oh, I'm sorry, I was just gonna clarify it, that I think we agreed on $1,000 per employee with a cap at $5,000.
We put 3 in there.
It's a cap of 3, right?
Oh, it was a cap at 3, okay.
Yeah.
Cap at 3,000.
I think we can have 4.
All right, any further discussion? If none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion's carried. I did have one thing, it's not on the agenda for new business, so we can't take any action on this, but I wanted to support the Christmas parade with a $300 contribution to the DJ in the park. So Brittany, can you see if we can find that somewhere in the budget, either through, if we have money in grant need, or I'm sure we can find $300 somewhere. All right, thank you. We'll go into members of council comments. Councilman Dudley.
No comment.
Councilman Jackson.
No comments.
Councilman Roberts.
No comment, sir.
Councilman Delaplane.
No comment.
All right, couple quick things I had. Obviously, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Got an email today about a donation from the Keeney Corporation that I talked about previously, that we're going to contribute to the flood mitigation on Monroe Street. Looks very favorable that we're going to receive those funds, and that'll save some dollars for us in that project that we can reallocate for something else. Clinton Street paving, Brittany talked about the water improvements on Clinton Street. We do have plans to pave Clinton Street from 2nd to 5th, but unfortunately, after they conclude this project in a month, the blacktop plants are gonna be closed, so we're gonna have to wait until the spring. That'll give us time to get a contract in place and RFP and everything out, and get a contract in place for when the weather breaks. And from a public safety standpoint, I did ask them, most people don't pay attention to this, but I did ask them to add 2 additional fire hydrants. So they added a hydrant at 4th and Clinton and 2nd and Clinton, so now every block along Clinton Street has a fire hydrant. So that is our commercial district, our most heavily populated area of the city, so now we have 100% full fire protection from the red light down to Krabby Digs. So. And I believe that concludes my report. We'll go into citizens' comments. Yes, sir.
Tim Delaplane, 118 Clinton Street. Finance manager said bills were paid for the CCTV system. Is it up and running?
It is. Everything except for, and it's not us, is the African Union Cemetery, and they have plans to install that. I believe next week. There's an email going around, but that's on the radar as well. Yeah.
Very good. Thank
So
you.
far, cameras look great, crystal clear. I'm happy with them. I'm not happy with, this is a normal issue. I may have to speak to our representatives about it. I'm not happy with Delmarva Power, what we're being charged for that. The cameras are literally using about $2 worth of electricity a month. DP&L charged us a residential meter fee. So Brittany and Janet called me last month and said the bill for the cameras was $87. I was like, oh, that's great. 7 cameras, $87. That's great. It's $87 a piece. Almost $600 a month just for a camera that's using $2 worth of electricity. So, I'm working on it. I'm not saying that I'll be successful, but I'm working on it, at least bringing it to people's attention and see where it goes from there. But in the interest of public safety, I just think it's ridiculous. But. All right. Yes. All right. We do need to go in executive session. Before I conclude, is there anybody else? Sorry, go ahead. Yes.
Claire Weingard on something on kind of behalf of the tree commission and the people that live on the 100 block of Clinton Street on the south side. The sidewalk looks like it's sinking. You can see it sinks in the middle all the way down the block, and we don't want to plant any trees there because the trees are sinking that have been planted there. The 2 that were planted there were not planted by the tree commission, so they may not be our favorite choice, but they're growing there, and the residents have told me that they've found the soil in those squares to be sinking, and they keep filling it with stuff, and it keeps going down, and something it might be going on down there, and we've asked for the water artesian to look at if there's any kind of leak, or can see if there's something going on there while they're doing the work.
Where was that again?
For us, the 100 block of
Clinton Street, okay.
I actually reached out to Artesian this week for the second time. I reached out to them and they were gonna go out, I didn't hear anything, so I reached out again this week and asked them to go and investigate if there's anything water related, but I don't have any follow-up yet.
And speaking of sidewalks, I don't remember if Ricky brought this up or not, but there's two sections of sidewalk we're gonna get repaired. One is on Fifth Street across from Kathy's Crab House. There's a section there that's in pretty bad shape. That's gonna be done. Is there any update on that, Brittany?
I just have the one proposal, I'm waiting on the second
Okay.
one. I talked to him today and he was supposed to email it over.
Okay.
I still don't have it.
So anyway, that'll be done soon, and then there's a section that we're still waiting on a proposal for by 7th Street Park that runs parallel to Clinton Street by the basketball court there. That section's gonna be redone also. I'm not sure when, but the priority is the one on 5th Street. Mike?
Michael, 129 Washington Street. Two brief questions to follow to the, remember last month, we talked about the trees being planted. Hopefully Artesian and the wonderful tree workers are putting these wonderful trees in. I'm all for trees. But you gotta be careful when you get close to those wood lines, because I bought the ranch about 25 years ago. When I planted the tree, it went right to the water line. It was very expensive for me. So we gotta watch out for that. And please make sure the Artesian folks are aware of it as well. But when you're planting these trees, these guys look up and they know what they're doing. Take that in consideration. You get a water-seeking tree, it's gonna go right towards that water or sewer line. So we gotta look at both aspects. The other thing is, since President Poppy's not here, I'm gonna give you a brief update on fire policeman Dennis Lakeman Sr. He's doing better. He's still in a wheelchair, he still can't walk. And he's taking physical therapy just about every day. And he's hopefully get back maybe another 8 weeks or maybe longer than that, so who knows, but he's doing the best he can. And there was a letter sent to the governor's office, and hopefully he'll get some type of feedback from the state fire service and get these people to wake up. Put your phones down, text some overtime, don't get distracted, save a life. First responders out there are doing the best they can. I was one for 35 years, I can't do it no more. But please, spread the word, not just us. Spread the word around, everybody you know. Plus, the little guys too. The teenagers are horrible with this. But and I've seen some seniors out there too, just as bad as I am. So I put mine in the glove compartment. I shut it off. There's no sense. You can always get it later. Pull in the parking lot somewhere. But please, watch out, because what happened to Dennis shouldn't happen to anybody. And hopefully he'll be back with us sometime down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Pam?
Pam Flash, 607 Madison. I was just wondering where we are with the Winter Wonderland.
Yeah, it's a go.
It is a go.
It's a go with the parade, the same day as the parade. Yes, you didn't get, okay. Then he didn't tell you? Then he was supposed to, my daughter was supposed to tell you.
Okay, well, I do have a vintage red truck that I would like to donate, for pictures to be taken that day, to use, for people to use to, have pictures taken that day.
All right, thank you. Any other citizens'
And what about
comments?
the hot chocolate?
I got that too.
Okay.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Talking about sidewalks, are you just concerned with the commercial area or residential?
Oh, no, we're concerned with, these sidewalks that I referenced are on city property. Yeah, so the other sidewalks are actually the homeowner's responsibility in the residential part. Yes, these are city-owned sidewalks, yep.
No, because I know a lot of brick sidewalks are under the grass and stuff, so that would be the responsibility of.
Of the homeowner, yeah. That's where, if you see something like that, you're more than welcome to turn it into our code enforcement officer, and she can go out and have a talk with the homeowner about it. Yeah. Yes, Tim?
One last thing, there's a rectangular mechanic patch on the northeast corner where 9 and Clinton meet. That seems to be sinking deeper.
All right, run that by me again.
On the rectangular mechanic patch, northeast corner, 9 and Clinton.
So right up here to red light? Okay.
If you pull into, if you're going, making a right turn, you drop right in. Unless you go to the center of the road, but it seems to be getting deeper. collapsing more.
There's a couple of those in town.
We'll take a look at that. That's actually, that's a Delhi route, so we'll make sure we take a look at it and see if we can get someone to take a look at
It's
that.
actually on,
Is it, when you get to the lake and take a right?
you get to the light, it's on your right, it's actually on Clinton in front of the Laird House.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
All right, citizens' comments. Yes.
Yes, Diane Maury, 203 Cleaver Road. Talking about DART and everything, I don't know if it's possible in the newsletter if Brittany can put in there about getting a list of people, like for that gentleman back there and some others, you know, a
Carpool.
a carpool, if that would help right now,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we can try.
No, it's a great idea.
Like, a couple of years ago, I had asked about volunteers for the senior snow removal, but nothing, I did have one person call me, about that, but carpools helped us in the 70s when we lived in Delaware City, because they had a, you know, fuel,
Fuel shortage.
shortage, and there was 5 of us that carpooled,
We can
you know,
try
at
between-
different stops.
Between that and social media, we can try, for sure. All right, anyone else?
I also have another comment about trees.
Mhm.
I have a neighbor that has had to have sewer problems repaired twice in the past 2 months. And she has a huge tree in the front of her house that's on, I guess, Delaware City property.
Mhm.
It's between the house, their lawn, and then the sidewalk is the residents' responsibility. And then the green grass in Harbor Estates
Mhm.
is evidently owned by Delaware City.
Yes.
And that big tree is what I saw the roots that the second time they had to dig up, and it was at her house. And fortunately, it was $8,000 cost the second time, not the first time. The first time was on her, the second time was on Artesian, because she had the insurance. And that's not cheap.
All right, any other citizens' comments? All right, final call, citizens' comments? All right, now I need a motion for us to go into executive session.
Make motion for the executive session.
All right, all in favor?